Um, okay, where did you serve in the military? And I know you served, but where was it? You had mentioned that you were a bombardier over Germany, over Nazi Germany, right?
Yeah, I was stationed in southern Italy.
Mm-hmm.
The front lines were 200 miles north of us in northern Italy. And our targets were in the Austrian part of Germany. Austria was part of Germany at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And southern Germany.
Okay.
In fact, I have a map here that
Sure.
shows.
Sure, let's go take a look.
That's it. Well, I could. There's too much here. I could go over this with you, but that would take too much time. But this is. You're looking here at a map of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
This is southern Italy here. This is 200 miles north of us. All these circles you see were known enemy anti-aircraft positions.
Mm-hmm.
If we would fly over one of those circles, the chances are we would be shot at. I told you before that I had flown 32 missions,
Mm-hmm.
and I have all my 32 missions shown, and you'll see in almost every case, every mission is in the center of a flak area. Our losses were 39.8%. Roughly 40% of our guys were shot down.
Wow.
And I had many close calls. The fact that I'm standing here today is
That's a
just
high rate.
pure luck.
Okay. You made it back.
And I'll go over this later.
Sure,
With
sure.
you.
I was looking at some of the other pictures
Okay.
here.
Well, I'll tell you briefly what
Sure.
this is.
Okay.
In the morning, in the evening, they would post the names of everybody who would be flying in the morning's mission.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm flying, they would wake me up maybe at 6 a.m., something like that. And I go in for briefing. And this shows briefing and so forth. But anyway, in briefing, I'm given this sheet that you're looking at.
Okay.
Typically, we fly with 28 planes in a formation, 7, 7, 7, 7. They're called squadrons. The guys in my squadron here, we all live in the same general area, in tents in the same area, so we get to know everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This happens, you're looking at a briefing sheet for a target called German oil refinery called Ruland, March 22nd, 1945. We have to be in our planes and ready at 6:45. Engines start at 7. The first plane starts to move out at 7:05, and the first plane will take off at 7:15, and the planes are taking off one right after the other. I'm passing over a lot because it would take too long to go through it all now. But on this particular day, or I should say with each squadron, we usually have an extra plane called a spare. Now the planes are flying day after day, and it's not unusual for a plane to have mechanical problems.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, that plane would, before you reach enemy territory, that plane might return to base. In that case, the spare will take the place of that plane. If none of the planes turn back, the spare comes back to base. On this particular day, March 22nd, 1945, I was flying spare for my squadron of 7 planes. None of my planes turned back. On that day, we were attacked by German jet fighter planes. The Germans had the only jet plane in World War II. It was called the Me-262. We had a jet called the we had a jet that it was Star something. It was not yet ready for combat.
Okay.
The British had a jet called the Meteor, which was not yet ready for combat. The Me-262 flew 100 miles an hour faster than our best fighter escort
So the Germans are more advanced in their aircraft, yeah.
and jet fighters. And on this day, March 22nd, we were attacked by these jets. Even though we had fighter protection, I mean, P-51s, those jets came right through those fighters. They shot down 4 planes in my squadron. I was a spare that day. If I had gone in, I would have been shot down, and I know I would not be here today.
Right, right.
It's 40 guys that I knew were gone.
40?
40, 10 guys
Wow.
in each plane.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that
There's
many.
a lot of other information. The code words that we use for that day are on this sheet. Schoolroom, burglar, skipper. If the whole mission is called off, the code word was skipper, and so forth.
Wow.
And on this map is our base down here in southern Italy. The front lines were 200 miles north of us. Did I describe this to you before?
You had mentioned, yeah, about how the different.
And these are the
targets in
32
there.
missions that I flew.
So you did a total
I
of 32 flights, 32
Yes, I
missions.
survived
Yeah.
32 missions. Our losses were 40%.
Wow.
So I survived.
Wow.
And I could go into more detail, later on.
That's great.
And later on, I could describe each of these, why I put them out, why I saved them. They all have stories.
We stop this for a second.